So what is your name?
Adela Cisneros, but I go by AJ, AJAY.
Where do you farm?
Where do I farm? I farm here in Farmington, New Mexico
How long have you been farming?
for a year.
And how about the size of the farm?
3 acres.
Do you have any employees there?
There's 2 of us.
And what do you all sell from the farm?
Produce, we do tomatoes, watermelons, fruits, trees, shrubs, different things.
Why do you farm?
Why not? I mean, the opportunity was presented and we jumped on it. Her grandfather was willing to front the land to us and front the finances. We saw an opportunity and we jumped on it.
What makes you successful?
The experience and being willing to fail and get back up and try again.
What is your greatest success?
The experience, most definitely. The experience, there's nothing like it, and doing it hands-on yourself. You get that. You just get that satisfaction.
And how about your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge right now would be weeds and keeping the deer out.
How often do you run into deer?
Every day. Actually, I was there yesterday, and there was a whole school of approximately 12, ranging all sizes. Pretty good.
What makes your operation and product unique?
It's run by 2 females, myself and my roommate. We try the product itself as we're harvesting to make sure there's nothing wrong or anything. I figured if there's any damage done to the product, we're gonna obviously get it before anybody else does.
What would your one piece of advice be to a new farmer?
My advice would be go for it. You never know what you're turning down when it's presented. It may seem like a far-fetched idea or something, but if you're willing to go, even if, take myself for example, I knew nothing about horticulture or landscaping before a year ago. And I just dove into it, and it turned out something I'm really good at and I love.
Why should people buy local food?
Because it's reconnecting with the farmers, you're getting to know the farmers, and it's cheaper, it's not being shipped or anything like that. Most definitely, that's why it's there. You can sample it yourself.
And you said you've been farming for 1 year. Where do you get your information about it?
Actually, we get it from my roommate's grandfather. He's been in the business 43 years himself with soil, landscaping. We do research, and on top of that, I come to college classes, and I get the information from there, what I don't know. So.
And so that's the end of the short interview, but is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, the land we work on itself is really, really good because we get 4 natural waters. We get city, well, pond, and irrigation all on one land. So, I mean, that makes it really, really easy, and beneficial for us.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Let's keep on rolling, okay? And then, let's see. Can anybody think of another question to go and ask real quick? Okay. If you're going to, let's see, what's one of the challenges with growing things in the desert?
Luckily, I would have to say, honestly, the soil, because around here, we have a lot of salt in our soil. So it causes the produce to die out quicker. They don't get as much iron as they need. Or we recommend soil acidifier a lot. And we have a lot of people that come in with that as well. Even here, with classroom and stuff, and that's a big problem, a lot of salt.
Do you have any, what's reaction when you tell people what you're doing? Do they just go ahead and assume that's like a normal thing, or do they, how do people react when they find out what you're doing?
Some are really cool with it, some aren't. I mean, some are taken back, they wouldn't. But for the majority of it, a lot of people are mostly interested in how we get the information, you know, how we started, why we chose to start, and
How do you explain what you do if you run into somebody when you're just talking to them? How do you?
seriously, I explain it that I love it. I mean, there's nothing like it. You know what I mean? It's nothing like working. Okay, for instance, I was a cop back in the day. I don't have to deal with none of that. You know, when I go out there, it's just me, Mother Nature, the plants, music, the deer, weeds. You can't get better than that. You know, you don't answer to nobody. You do it at your own pace. I talk to the plants. I play music for them. You know what I mean? Sometimes on a bad day when it's windy, they hit me in the eyeball. I get scratched, you know, like wapa, you know, kind of like that. But you know, it's fun. If you don't enjoy something that you're doing, then it's not as fun. You know, it's not the same, and I really enjoy it. So.
What's one of the most, you're saying that you get a lot of advice from your roommate's grandfather and from like some courses here. What's one of the most useful words of advice that you've been given?
Honestly, he's got this saying that says, if you ask a question, don't ask it unless you know the answer to it. So therefore, I won't ask a question unless I already done the research and know the answer, or have I experienced it. That way, anybody comes up and they ask you, you already know. You know what to give them, kind of like the soil acidifier, the salt in the land, you know, the aphids and stuff like that, you know, different.
And since you've started doing this, have you found that there's a little bit of a community, or there's other?
There is a little bit of a community. I mean, like the farmers markets, you know, Farmington, we're actually going to expand into Aztec's farmers market next year. The schools really got their own little culture, which I was surprised. You know, we have people here that work in the greenhouse. We have people that go out and check it out. And I mean, some people can do it, some people can't, you know. We've had some good perspectives and not so good perspectives, you know. It's just.
Oh, what's the season like for the farmers market? And I guess what I mean by that is like, when does it start and when does it end and where? Just, you know, for someone who's looking.
I know it ends at the end of October. I believe it starts in May or June. This year we didn't start till July though, so we were running a little behind. That's another thing. Gotta start earlier than we did. You know, kind of but we made the best of it.
And I have one last question, unless Doug or anybody else has a question. But what's your favorite crop and why?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
What's the favorite thing that you have that you grow and why?
Actually, I would say it's tomatoes. Why? Because there's so many different tomatoes. I mean, and until this year, I did not learn that I was eating the placenta of the plant. That is what the inside of a tomato is. You'll never look at it the same, that's for sure, once you learn that. And that I would have to say is one of my favorite, because it's varieties in different sizes. The texture alone is different. The flavors, the smell, and it's just, you can do amazing things with them, you know, and the animals obviously love them as well.
What does a typical day in your life look like?
My typical day, let's see, it starts about approximately 5 in the morning. I get up and, let's see, obviously I water the grass, water the plants, talk to them. Water plants mainly. I'm always watering. That's pretty much what a typical day is for me. Coming to classes, watering over here, transplanting here. Basically the same thing there, transplanting, selling the product, you know, recommending the best for those that come to us, you know. learning.